Hey, how's it going? Brian Bowman here, and I need your advice on something really quick. Do you think that a mix of half orange juice, half pomelo juice would taste any good? I have some company that's going to be coming over for the holidays, and I want to put a cool drink together. So let me know. Half pomelo juice, half orange juice, just a mix. I thought that'd be pretty cool. Oh, you probably don't know what a pomelo is. So let me explain really quick what a pomelo is. So pomelo is it's the largest citrus fruit. The rind has like a light yellow to coral pink flesh, like the color. And it can vary from juicy to slightly dry. And the flavor is anywhere between sort of spicy sweet to tangy and tart. So hopefully that should help. So again, what do you think? Do you think that a mix of half pomelo juice, half orange juice would be good for me to have at the party? All right. Well, if you're like me and like everyone else that I've asked this to, you probably are like, dude, I have no idea. Maybe that would work. I don't know. And it's actually my fault because I did a really bad job of explaining what a pomelo is. So what if I said a pomelo is like a supersized grapefruit with a thick and soft rind? Tastes the same as a grapefruit. Now, if I asked you, would a mix of half orange juice, half pomelo juice be a good thing? Do you think it tastes good? Most of you, if you didn't already know what a pomelo is, you'd probably say, yeah, sounds pretty good. Sounds like it's half grapefruit juice, half orange juice. And this simple example is actually really powerful. And I want to talk about it today and how you can use this in your marketing and with your product. So this example isn't something that I came up with. I actually read it in this book, Made to Stick, by Chip Heath and Dan Heath. Great book. You should check it out. And they talk about this idea of schemas. So grapefruit is a schema that you and I have. And a schema it's kind of like info that we already have that's familiar to us. It's already in our brain. It's just natural for us, right? If I say there's a sports car speeding down the road, it's a Ferrari, what color is it? Most of us have a schema that it's probably red, right? We have like a red Ferrari schema. This is just stored in our memories. So this is kind of information that's easy for us to recall. So when I say that a pomelo is like the largest grapefruit, it right away calls on your schema of what a grapefruit is. So you kind of know what it tastes like. You know that it probably mixes well with orange juice. So right away, you can understand what I'm talking about. And several days, 2 days from now, or even a year from now, you may not remember exactly what a pomelo is. But you probably will know if anyone ever brought it up. If I would have given you that first example, you probably wouldn't be able to remember like if it mixed well with orange juice. But because I tapped into that schema of a grapefruit, you probably a year from now will know if somebody brought it up. Oh yeah, those will mix well together. And the point, so like, what's the point of all of this, right? Like, why am I even talking about this? Our job and what you want to do as much as possible is you want to connect your USP, the unique selling proposition of your product, which is, I've talked about a lot, but just to remind you, your USP is why would I, the prospect, the person who's considering your product, why would I do business with you? Why would I, take my credit card out of my wallet and pay you money for your thing? Given all the other choices available to me, because goodness, do I have a lot of choices. As a buyer, I have tons of choices available to me. So why would I give you my money? That's a really important question to answer. And that's your USP. So you have to define that. But how you communicate that USP is very important because you want to tap into this existing schema that people have. So for example, Steve Jobs talked about this a lot. He called them ICOLAs, IKOLA. ICOLAs. And that's an acronym for it's kind of like right? So when he pulls out the first iPod and wants to share like what the iPod is, he doesn't go into, it's a complex, series of like circuitry and it stores MP3 files in a blah, 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 compressed format. He doesn't say that. He says it's kind of like having 1,000 CDs in your pocket. Boom. That taps into a schema that I already have. What are CDs? I can imagine what 1,000 CDs are like. And it's like, dang, I can take all those CDs and compress them into this thing. I'm interested. if he would have given us this description of like all the technology that goes into an iPod, and if Steve Jobs would have started talking about compressed files and all this, we would have checked out. My good friend Russell Brunson talks about this when he talks to marketers, and he says, "Don't talk in technobabble." We have to talk simplistically, and it's not to say that we're dumbing down our ideas, but we have to bridge people over to the point of understanding what we're talking about by using these icolas. It's kind of like bridges. Even when I was talking about schema, if you listen to what I said earlier, I said you have a schema about grapefruit. A schema, it's kind of like info already familiar to us, and it's stored in our memories, right? I use that it's kind of like to help explain what a schema is. If I would have gone into the deep psychological principles of like what a schema is and all that, I would have completely lost you. If you read any behavioral psychology, you know that whenever people, all of us, this is just like in us, and who knows why, if it's just evolutionary or whatever it might be, but when we're faced with a complex idea, it triggers like an alert in our brain that is basically like, this is gonna take energy and resources to think about this, to understand what this is. So as soon as we come forward, so if you have your USP, and I've got a great example, it's like one of my favorite examples, but in fact, I'll talk about it now. If your USP is you have this bathroom cleaner, right? And it's really effective. It has this proprietary combination of ingredients that both scrub and clean the bathroom, remove toxins, disinfect, and leave it sparkling clean. And you lead with, this is why you should buy my product, because it has this combination of ingredients and natural herbs and oils or whatever. And you start like going into the details, it triggers people's, like, I think what behavioral psychologists call it is like your like alligator brain, which I don't know if that's a technical term, but basically it's like, danger. We need to allocate resources to understand this. Now imagine in a marketplace full of a ton of noise, if that's what you lead with, it's like, next, right? Like we'll keep scrolling. Like I don't have time to think about this. I've got way too much going on. But if you were to use and this is like some of my favorite branding is Scrubbing Bubbles, take their example. In their branding, they use an icola. They're not talking about the ingredients and how the product is made. They're visualized, like, what is it? Anthropomorphic, right? They're giving personality to these little scrubbing bubbles and saying, like, it's kind of like having these little scrubbers, like going through your entire bathroom and cleaning up your tub and cleaning up your sink and everything, right? It helps you visualize. It taps into like a schema, and it also helps you really easily understand, kind of like the iPod and all the songs, helps you easily understand, that's what's happening. And you may not know anything about the product, but you will remember those little scrubbing bubbles, right? So that's their USP, is it'll leave it super clean. It has these ingredients or whatever it might be. But by even in their branding and by helping you visualize that, it helps you understand what it is. It makes it more viral because you're going to share that. You wouldn't share this breakdown of all these different products and all this, but you would share, this product, it's kind of like having little scrubbers go through your tub, whatever it might be, right? So the whole point is when we tap into people's existing schema, when I say a pomelo it's like a supersized grapefruit. So what do you think? Do you think it would mix well, half pomelo juice, half orange juice? You pretty much know, like, yeah, probably would taste good. And it makes it easier for you to share the idea because you don't have to understand this complex, description that I originally gave you. So the big takeaway here is when you are marketing, when you are getting your message out, you want to try to tap into people's existing schemas as much as possible. Keep the idea really simple. Use the Steve Jobs icolas. It's kind of like what I did with schema, where I said schemas are kind of like info we already have stored in our memories. It's kind of like, iPods are kind of like having 1,000 CDs in your pocket. Oh, wow. I know what a CD is, 1,000 of them in my pocket. Our cleaner is kind of like having little scrubbing bubbles surfing through your tub, cleaning everything up, leaving it spotless. These are things that help people. It tears down the barriers, right? Because it's not hard to understand. It taps into something that I already know. So it's kind of like, you can take your idea and Trojan horse it into their attention span. Because we all have really short attention spans, me included, right? We have tabs open, we're surfing from one thing to the next. So this is a way to stop people, get their attention. They realize, oh, that probably could work. Now you got their attention. Now you have to move on to getting their interest, their desire, and getting them to take action. Plus, it makes it much, much easier for me after hearing your USP about your product and hearing your simplified example, your iCola, right? It makes it easy for me to take that and go share it with somebody else. And that's how you get word of mouth. So it was a lot to unpack there. Hopefully that all makes sense. The main thing is define your USP and come up with some iColas, some easy examples, kind of like the iPod and the 1,000 CDs, kind of like the scrubbing bubbles, where it's easy for you to explain your USP, get people's attention, and get them to spread the idea for you. So go get after it, go implement it, and I'll talk to you next time. All right, bye.